Hi everyone, and welcome back to the DoSo Knits YouTube channel. My name is Kristen and I am a military spouse and knitter living in Germany with my family. This is my podcast where I share all my knitting and yarny adventures with all of you guys. If you'd like to find me other places, I am DoSo Knits on both Instagram, Ravelry, and here on YouTube. So if you'd like to see me in other places, those are where you can find me. And then all of the show notes for the episode are found on my website, which is dosoknits.com, and show notes for this specific episode for all the projects, links to yarns, links to my Amazon shopping list for all the tools that I mentioned. It is linked also in the description box down below. So I'm coming to you guys from Germany. It is now November. It is November 10th today, and fall is here. Fall is definitely here. Today was a kind of gloomy day. It was very much fog. And when I say fog, I mean like, you know, in scary movies when they have like the fog that's so crazy and then you can't see what's in the distance and something's gonna jump out of it kind of fog? It's that kind of fog. Or you can't necessarily see where you're driving. You have to be pretty careful because deers tend to like when it's foggy and like to jump in front of the cars. So that was today. Sherlock and I have already gone on both of our walks. It is the evening time here. He has had his dinner and now he is ready to take his post-dinner nap. He wants his post-dinner snuggles, but I wanted to record this, and so that is where we are at. So we are on episode 8 today, which is crazy. Almost in the double digits. I can't believe it. I have typed up all of my show notes. I've gone digital, and I have a lot to show you guys. I took off this previous week from work just because, you know, with the pandemic and everything, it's really easy to not take a break because we're not going on vacations and we're not doing the things that would normally warrant breaks, and so I just haven't had one in a long time, and I was starting to feel it, and so I took a break, took a week off, and I think my knitting kind of shows for that because I have so many things to show you. I don't know if I'll be able to share all of them, but it is quite a chunk today. So if you are ready, I am ready. Grab your knitting, maybe something warm to drink, or even just water or something more fun, and we can get started. I have 2 different finished objects to share with you. 2 different patterns, but 3 finished objects. So the first one I am going to show you. So my first finished objects are my Sweetheart Fingerless mitts. They are donezo. So the pattern is my Sweetheart Fingerless mitts by Litton, the crazy sock lady. I knit these on my Addy Sock and Wonders 2mm US zeros. I used chromatic yarns, merino sock in Rock Gnome, and knit crate cabled sock in Olivia, and I knit the size small. I'll show you guys them here. So this main color is my Rock Gnome by Chromatic Yarns. And then this color right here is my Knitology Cabled Sock by Knit Crate. And then here are the 2 different mitts. And so I think for these, I was finally able to finish them. I was finally able to get them off. I think I did 1 less decrease on this pattern repeat just because I have small hands. But it's really easy to modify that because you can kind of measure it out, try it on as you go. And I think they look really nice. Look at them. Do some Vogue. But that is how they look. I am really, really pleased with the pattern. The pattern is really fun because it's not It looks like a cable, but it's not. It's slip stitches that you do like this wrapping and then this passing over technique. It's really easy, and Kay has a video linked in her pattern, so she shows you how to do that special stitch. See, she has a video linked on how to do her sewn bind off, and yeah, I highly recommend these. If you've not knit like socks before or fingerless mitts, I think these are it's a good recipe to follow because it's quite easy. Oh, and they're so warm and toasty. I am very excited to have these. I didn't want to wear them before I podcasted to you guys because I knew my luck was if I didn't put them in my to share on the podcast pile and just started wearing them, that I was going to forget them for this podcast. So I withheld from wearing them, but now since I've shared them, I am free to wear them, and I really like how they look. So that is my first finished object, my Sweetheart Fingerless Mitts by Kay Litton. And I'm so excited for these. They're lovely and they work so well with my knit circulars. So that is those. I need to get finished object photos before I start wearing them. I need to put those on my Ravelry project page. And so the next and second finished objects that I have are some single skein projects. They are my diagonal dishcloths by Anada Judkins. I use a 5mm, it's actually not a knitting pattern, it's a crochet pattern. So 5mm H crochet hook, and then this yarn is Bernay handcrafted cotton ombres and prints, and I have 2 different colorways to share with you guys. And so this is a free pattern on Ravelry, and they are my diagonal dishcloths. So this color is Country Sage, and then this one is Calico. So I'll give you a nice little close-up. I like this because it's a pretty easy stitch pattern. It's just single crochets, and you're just crocheting into the back loop. So it goes pretty quick. I think it took me about 2 hours per dishcloth. And honestly, these are probably going to be used for washcloths and not dishcloths, because I like using knit dishcloths for dishes and cleaning, and then I like the crochet ones for our washcloths because they just look different and then you can keep them separated. Plus I like the thicker texture that these give, and they're just like more sturdy. Focus on the edge. They're just more sturdy, and it just feels like, it's really cool how this one is pulling on the camera. I really like this yarn. The craft store on our base had it. I actually ran out right here, so I had to pop a different color on. And then I just added the little like single chain that I sewed in so that they have little loops, and then that way we have little hangers to hang them on. And I'm just trying to get away from like buying the plastic loofahs, and I felt like these would be a nice way to be different than our washcloths that we use in the kitchen, but it was also super easy. So I had 2 mornings where I just woke up and I just worked on these because I wanted something on and off really quickly, and for 2 hours work, highly recommend. It's a great pattern, nice and thick and sturdy, and I think they're gonna be great for using as washcloths. So pretty excited for those. Got 2 of them, and yeah, I think they're quite fun. They are very easy. It's something I would recommend just picking up and doing if you need something that's kind of quick and rewarding, which is kind of where I was at. I was just like, oh boy, a lot of my projects are a little big and I wanted something on and off, and I wanted them for ease of use. So these ones are for us. I have some washcloths and dishcloths kind of stowed away to send as Christmas gifts, but I know we need some personally in the house, so I made some for us. And that is my other finished objects this week. So my dishcloth. This is this. So now we move into the works in progress. Oh boy, the works in progress. We have many works in progress. Hi, so I had to go downstairs because I thought I grabbed this one, but I didn't, so I had to pause and come back. My first work in progress this week is a pair of socks. These are my Evergreen socks by Madeline Gannon. I am using my, again, 9-inch Sock and Wonders, 2 millimeters in the US size 0, and I am using a colorway from Handmade Knits. Handmade Knits, it is their greenery colorway, and is an MCN, so it's 75% merino, 15% nylon, 10% cashmere, and then that is their logo. I like the pun, Handmade Knits. And then, so this is the color. So it's this really nice green with specks of red. There's tiny pops of blue. But these are my Evergreen socks. Da 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 da. It's very hard to see. So I have finished the lace chart, which is this really cute evergreen tree. And I have done through the heel. I have done through the gusset decreases, and now I am just on the ease of the foot. So what's nice about this pattern is it's the standard ribbing, and then you have the beautiful lace chart, and then once you're done with the lace, it's just a vanilla sock the rest of the way. You have to do your heel flap, which you can do whichever heel you like. I did the one that's in the pattern, so I think this is the partridge, Eye of Partridge heel. I really like the texture that this brings. And now it's just stockinette, knit stitches in the round until I need to start for the toe. So now that I have finished the lace chart and it's just this really simple round and round, I can just take this with me and it can be my on-the-go knitting, which is why it was downstairs, because it was in my bag for today when I was out running errands, because the line at the post office is quite long, so I like to knit while I wait in line to get to my packages. But yeah, I really like, it's just such a simple lace chart. All it is knit 2 togethers or slip knits and then yarn overs, and you get this beautiful Christmas tree, evergreen tree on the side. So it's really easy and nice. I did have to modify the pattern. So the pattern is written for either 64 or 72 stitches. I have tiny feet. I wear like a US women's 6.5 or 7, so I have to knit the 56 stitch size sock for basically everything because I have tiny feet. So the pattern was only written for bigger sizes, so I had to modify the repeat a little. I had to take out a Christmas tree or evergreen tree chart, and then I just had to add more stock or like extra knit stitches between the charts. So in the other sizes there are 4 Christmas trees around your foot. Mine there's just 3, but honestly I'm good with it. I like my Christmas trees. So these are my socks, and yeah, so I've started this one and worked on it within the last 2 weeks. I think I started these on Halloween, which is kind of ironic, but and yeah, I hope to get these done for December. But I like them because I feel like I can wear them throughout December. They're not super Christmassy, but I love the green. It's so pretty. And this yarn is so much fun to work with. And yeah, I've never used any of Handmade Knits yarn before, but this was the first hand-dyed yarn I'd ever bought. So I bought it last year to make these socks specifically, and then it wasn't Christmas time or winter time, so I didn't want to do them. And yeah, so now I've finally gotten around to making them, and they are living in my little black cat bag, which my best friend Courtney made. when we had our Halloween mini swap that we did for each other. She made this for me for the last day, but then was too excited to wait till the last day, so she gave it to me a little early, but got my black cat knitting bag, and it's perfect for my socks, and Courtney made it, so I love using it. All right, so now that Sherlock has stopped shaking his collar around so that it was really jingly, I am going to show you my Agna Qel'a socks by Dabbles. Again, I am knitting these on my Addy Sock and Wonders 2mm needles, and I'm using Audine Wool's Luxury Sock in Dew, which is a knit crate pattern. I am again knitting the 56 stitch size sock, and so these socks are part of the mystery knit along for November for the Sock Knitters Anonymous group on Ravelry. So if you're participating and you don't want the spoiler surprise horn for you, just skip ahead. I'm on Clue 2, which came out on Sunday, and yes, so here is my sock. So it is a beaded sock pattern. I am using clear beads because she mentioned in the pattern that it reminded her, there you go, right there and right there, right there. Whew, almost dropped my basket. That it reminded her of icicles. So the way I knit these is each week the clues come out on the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd of the month. And then so each week I knit them concurrently. So I knit the one clue for the one, and then I do the second clue on the other, and then I just work back and forth until they are done. So I did clue 1 last week, which was just the cuff, which is this beautiful, it's just a cuff with a cable and some twisted stitches, and then the lace chart and everything else is the pattern for this week. And what's great is this is a free pattern on Ravelry. So I am a couple more repeats from finishing this sock, and then I'll be able to start this one. My goal is basically just to keep up each week, so I have till Sunday to finish the legs of both of these, and then clue 3 will probably be the heel flap and the gusset, and then clue 4 will probably be the foot and the toe, because that's normally how the mystery knit alongs for Sock Knitters Anonymous works. But yeah, I'm really enjoying these. This is my first beaded knitting pattern, and I will say it is much easier than you would think it is. I did buy this crochet hook from Lovecrafts. It is a 0.5mm crochet hook, so it is itty bitty. And then the beads I am using are some clear beads that I got from my local craft store. I had debated between using these blue beads, but when I paired it with the dew color of this yarn, I wasn't a super fan of the contrast, and I feel like the light, slightly iridescent quality of the clear is a nice little touch that kind of reminds me of icicles a little bit more, where you just kind of get that little sun glint from the icicles as they melt, and that's kind of the vibe I wanted to go for with these. And I feel like the dew color is really perfect for this. So I think it's like a nice, elegant, pretty sock pattern, and it's really fun. I am doing the cable without a cable technique pattern, and then beading, and both of those techniques, Dabbles has a technique on her blog, and Ebony is chewing on plastic. Alrighty, so now we can move on to the next work in progress. So the next thing I'm going to show you is something I've been working on for a while. This I'm going to show you guys an update on my Stillwater by Greene. Again, I am still using my Qel'a Red Lace interchangeables. I am using a US 6 for the body and a US 4 for the ribbing. And I'm using my Cascade 220 non-superwash in Purple Jewel Heather. Mine is a size 44 and the pattern has sizes from 32 to 52. And then the main modification that I made to this cardigan is I steeked it. And so I took a video of me doing the steek, so maybe I'll try to add it above or a little bit later, but I did do my steek. I did my steek, and now we are ready to start on the sleeves and the ribbing. But last week the front was like this, and now I have a cardigan which I have cut, and maybe I will have put a video already, but I have a cardigan that I have cut. And it is, ta-da! So here is the lace panel going down the front. I have my steek reinforcement that I did, and I have cut my cardigan, and it did not epically fail because it is almost wearable. So I still have to go along these pieces here, the front and around, and do about 4 inches of the ribbing, and then obviously my sleeves. But it is supposed to be an open front cardigan, and I feel like it fits nicely on where my shoulders are. Like, it doesn't feel too big. My main thing with my Union Station that I have is it feels like it always falls off. I feel like this is like pretty good on my shoulders and it's not going to fall off, and I am pretty stoked. I'm pretty proud of my steek. I did finish the body, which was my goal before this podcast. I did the bottom ribbing and I let it sit for a few days because I was definitely kind of waiting to do the actual cutting of the front because I was a little scared, and I also wanted to do it when I had like full focus to do it. And I wanted to record it, so I think that also was a reason why it took me a few days to actually do it. But I did it and it's fine. And honestly, it's nothing to be scared of. And the only thing crazy that happened was I did accidentally cut a little crazy, and I did accidentally cut a stitch that was not part of the steek, but that was my own bad, not anything that should worry about doing a steek. It is here-ish, but I sewed it up. That's a yarn over, so it's not that one. It's where this is right there. You can't even tell now because I sewed it up so well. But honestly, it's going to be fine because where I accidentally snipped was in this little purl ridge. And what's gonna happen right here, this little ridge, but what's gonna happen is in this ridge is where I'm picking up for the ribbing, because the 2 knit stitches are gonna get folded over essentially. So I'm gonna pick up here, and so then this will be folded in, and no one is going to be the wiser of my hole, because you'll fold those, because those extra knit stitches are the extra stitches you added. So I will fold it over, and I will seam it in, and no one will know. No one will know, and it's going to be fine. And I now have a thing that more resembles a cardigan that looks very black on my camera. Oh look, ends that I forgot to weave in. Right in center. But there they are. I have been kind of procrastinating doing the ribbing because the needle size is the same as my Slipstravaganza. So I ordered more interchangeable needles so I can start the ribbing. And they actually came in the mail today, so I feel like I'm going to be able to start that. And yeah, I think end of November, here comes a new cardigan, right? I've only been working on this since August. cardigan. Yay! Long-term projects, they're great. Especially when you think you're gonna do it in a month, because the pattern says it's a 4-day pattern. Because it's a 4-day challenge pattern, and I don't knit that fast apparently. But yay! Cardigan. Yay! I'm quite excited. I will wear it eventually. Funny story about this cardigan today. This cardigan is living in this gorgeous Join the Stitches bag. It's huge. It's bigger than my head. This bag is quite large. It was in the living room. Hasn't been touched in a few days. It's fine, no big deal. I come home today after running some errands. It is by the front door. Sherlock took the bag to the front door. This big bag to the front door. I don't understand. I don't understand. I come home and there are my shoes on the couch, and which is a normal occurrence. He likes my shoes apparently. They smell like my feet. Lovely. The dog loves it. They make him feel like he's home. But why? Why? Why carry this to the front door? I think he thinks that if he moves it closer to the door, I'll know. And then I will come home because he misses me. Which is a very sweet sentiment, but I just think it's funny. He also decided to chew some nice to chew on my bearded pearl bag. Because he's crazy. And I'm not allowed to have nice things. This bag is huge. And it's not light because there's like the whole sweater, some notions, and then the extra yarn in here. So I don't know. My dog is bananas. A bananas dog. You're a bananas dog, huh? He's giving me some looks. So yes, my Stillwater cardigan by Mary Greene. So, speaking of my Slipstravaganza and how it is sharing needles with my Stillwater, I am not anywhere close to finishing it along the timeline that everyone else set with the like did it through October. Yeah, no, I'm still on the second week of the glue. So I'm in section 3. If you've already seen the whole cardigan, I am not going to be spoiling for you. We are past the point of spoilers because he changed the project photo of the shawl. So I'm no longer in spoiler category. So I'm on section 3, clue 2 of the pattern. I've not done much work on this because I have started another shawl, which is I will get to in a moment. So this is my Slipstravaganza by Stephen West. I am using my Chalgu red lace interchangeables in US 4 or 3.5 millimeters. And then all my yarns are from the Urban Pearl Twister BFL. And so here is my Slipstravaganza. It is in my basket. And I think what is getting me is I am on the painting bricks-esque section of the shawl, and I just did painting bricks and I finished it in October, and I just don't want to do painting bricks again. So my main color, which is brown, is the Urbanite, this white with some pops is Urban Haze. Contrast color 2, which is my orange, is Power Station. And sorry, that's contrast, yeah. And then the yellow, which you can see a little bit better there, I've just started it here, you can't really see it here, is Celtic Haze. I'll show you the yellow a little bit better. That is the yellow. And then my main color. I'm almost done with the first skein of this. And then the first contrast color. And my shining contrast color too. And so yes, this is where it is at. I really do enjoy it. I feel like it's going to be more of a statement piece than something I can wear all the time, but I really do like the colors. I think I'm just ready to get past this section because it's very similar to the shawl that I made just recently. It's just, I just want to get on to the next part, but I know I can't unless I do it. But that is that. There's not much progress on this, sorry. Not making a whole bunch of progress. I really love the yarns and I like how it looks, and I feel like the yarn overs aren't as big of a deal. Like, you can't necessarily tell. And so yes, this is my Slipstravaganza. I really do like it. I just have not been motivated to work on it because I did start another shawl. But it's kind of not my fault that I started another shawl. It's kind of my fault, but it's also kind of not my fault. So I think what I'm going to try to do is do the 30 minutes of knitting in the morning technique that Litton on the Crazy Sock Lady, she mentions a lot on her Instagram and her channel, where she just does 30 minutes a day in the morning of her sweater. So I think I'm going to try to alternate 30 minutes a day on this and then 30 minutes a day on my Stillwater, just to make sure I get them done. If I just alternate days, it'll take a little bit longer, but just so they both get some constant progress every day, because they both just take a little bit of focus. The Stillwater, once I pick up for the sleeves, won't be as bad because then I can just kind of go. But this one definitely takes focus, and it definitely takes focus, and it definitely takes me using Knit Companion on my tablet. So it is like not a to-go project at all. So, and I'm just not in, I'm just working on what I want to work on. I'm not in a rush. And so yeah, and it just looks so nice in my basket. I love baskets for all my knitting. So yes, that is my Slipstravaganza by Stephen West. Alrighty, so now the shawl that I started, that's my fault, but also not my fault, is my Old Mill shawl, which I am test knitting for Hygge Canyon. Again, I'm using my ChiaoGoo red lace interchangeables. This time I'm using a US 3, which is a 3.25 millimeter needle. And so this is a test knit, but it's not a secret test knit. And if you've been on my Instagram, you've seen a few photos of it. And this is where I am at. So the shawl calls for 3 fingering weight skeins. She recommends either 2 tonals and 1 variegated, or 2 tonals and 1 variegated, or 2 tonals, 1 speckle, and or 2 speckles, 1 tonal. So I ordered some Knit Picks Hawthorn, and then I will show you the 3 colors. So this dark purple is Corvallis, and this is their tonal hand painted. This light mauvey purple is Silverton, which is also tonal hand painted. And then this center color is Hawthorn Multi in Mount Scott. So I feel like I picked some really nice colors that are going together really well. Because in the Mount Scott is this like dark purple, and then in this mauve is kind of the same purpley, dark purple tones as well. So I feel like they kind of fade, but they look really nice. And I wanted something dark and kind of moody for fall. And so it's this really nice like broken rib textures that alternate. In the future there will be some eyelets. I'm just not there yet. But this pattern has been so meditative to work on, because you have the ribbing rows and then you have the knit rows, and you just go back and forth, and it takes a little bit of focus so that you have to make sure you're doing the ribbing on the right times, but overall, like, you can just kind of get into this like meditative hum, which is nice, where it requires like a little bit of brain power, keep you engaged, but not so much that it's like, ugh, I don't want to pick that up because my brain hurts when I work on it, or that I have to think about what I'm doing. You don't really have to think. I just take my knit companion and I move my highlighted row and I go, cool, this row I'm doing knit and purl, and then the next row you're like, cool, I know what I'm doing, and then you just keep repeating the sections and it's good to go. So this is where I'm at. I love this. I love it, I love it, I love it, and I feel like the like texture just like makes it soft and squishy, and I'm really excited for this. So the pattern will be coming out in December, I believe. And what's also really nice is the pattern is reversible. So technically that's the wrong side. But if you look here, you can see the columns going up. And then here, the columns are a little more textured. But then on this side, the texturing is on this section. And then you can see the columns in this section. And that's just the benefit of broken rib, is it just looks really nice and reversible. And I am loving this pattern, and Kim has designed a beautiful shawl. And I am so lucky that she let me test knit for her. So thank you, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited I get to share this with you guys. So this is this, and it's also living in a Join the Stitches bag. And so here's some other peeks of the yarn. So this is the mauvey purple, the Silverton. This is the Mount Scott, and then this one is the Corvallis. And so the three of them together. I love these. I think they're so beautiful, and I think they look really, really nice together. And it's very fall and beautiful, and I am so excited. Yay! And yes, so that is my Old Mill shawl by Hygge Canyon. Should be coming out in December. Keep an eye out. I think it's kind of funny because I am type A sometimes. And so the pattern has multiple sections, and obviously since I'm test knitting, I have a deadline. So I made this little note on my tablet where it's like, okay, section 1 I'm gonna budget 1 day for, which I did in a day. Section 2 I'm gonna budget 2 days for. Section 3 I'll do 3 days. And section 4 I did 4 days, and then I think the later sections, almost all of them have 4 or 5 days each because they get long, just because shawls always increase to longer row lengths. Although I will say, I think her maximum stitch count at one point is where I'm at, if not surpassed that in my Stephen West shawl, and I'm nowhere close to finishing that. I'm only on section 3, and her ending stitch count is his section 3 stitch count. So that should tell you, his is a freaking large. Hers is I think a normal size, so it's a little bit easier, not as big of a commitment. And it's nice because you can just kind of pick 3 yarns that you like that work together in your stash and just go for it. And I think what's really nice is the texture pattern just like adds enough detail that you stay interested, and it looks nice and it makes it feel plump and rich, but like it's engaging, but it doesn't take too much brain power. So I highly recommend this pattern. It has been such a joy to work on. I love it, and I cannot wait for it to get done, and I appreciate that I have a deadline because I know I'll get it done now. Deadlines help, and so I feel that's where I have my chart of how long I have budgeted for each section and then when I have to get it done by, so that way I make sure that I stay on track and get it done in time. So yes, that is that, and it is in my Join the Stitches bag, my little owl bag. That is that. We are getting there. We have 2, right? 2 more works in progress, and then we'll be done. I promise. I know this one is quite long because I've had to stop the video and restart it. So we'll start with a new cast on, and then we'll end with one that I have also continuously been working on. So this is my Trail 4 hat by Claire Borchardt. I don't know how to say that last name, so I am sorry if it is incorrect. So I've modified this pattern slightly. If you're a fan of Knitting Vicariously, Dunder Knit hosts that here on YouTube. She just released a new episode. She mentioned this hat in that episode, and so it is also a free pattern on Ravelry. And I saw it and I was like, I think that is what I need for my single skein project now that I have finished my Sweetheart Fingerless mitts. So I'm knitting this out of Shannon Meyer Cozy Wool. And this is where I am at. Doesn't look like much. Let me show you. I do not have the tag of the yarn, but this is a wool, nylon, acrylic blend. I bought this yarn about a year ago before I was super into natural fibers, but I've just had it for a while and I thought it'd be a good gift yarn because it doesn't take as much care as some of the merinos, and it felt heavy that it's been sitting in my stash and I haven't used it because I want to use it and get it out so that I can bring in some other things that I like a little bit more. And so it's just kind of been weighing heavy on me and I wanted to get it out, so I cast this on. Yep, it's not my favorite yarn to work with because it is got some acrylic in it, so it just feels tough and hard sometimes, but it is really soft and it is really warm. And that's the other thing, is the acrylic is really warm and makes my hands sweat, and so then I struggle to work on it. But I like the iridescent color, so it's like black with this silvery color inside and it like shines. And so the pattern calls for a Aran weight yarn and I'm using a worsted weight yarn. So I referenced the classic cuffed hat by Pearl Soho to get the stitch count and needle size that they recommended, because that one was the same weight yarn as this yarn, but I'm following the pattern of Trail 4. So I think I cast on less stitches and I changed the needle size to get a denser fabric. So I think I had to go down a couple of needle sizes because her yarn was larger than mine, but I'm following the pattern. So I was able to do so it is a folded brim. It's kind of hard to tell, but here on the inside, you can see that it's also the same pattern. And then right here is where it's kind of hard to see. It's folded over and sewed in. And then here, it's a nice continuous. So the folded brim is like double thick. And then that way, I liked that I didn't have to do any ribbing. It's just been stockinette, and it's just stockinette in the round. So this is also a really nice on-the-go knitting pattern. Although I will say I have magically lost my stitch marker. It is gone. My beginning of the round. It must have fallen off. I'm just referencing my starting tail as somewhere close. Yay! I don't know, they fall off, and the same thing happened with my Agna Qel'a socks. The beginning of the round fell off and I had just kept going and going and going. The stapler over and over, and I was like, what am I doing? So that is that. I did add a purl row when I was halfway through the folded cuff, just so it folded a little bit easier. But it's been a great pattern, and I am using my Knit Picks Caspian short interchangeable needles, and I love these for hats because it makes like a nice 12-inch or 16-inch circle, and the needles are only this big. They're so little and cute. They're so little and cute. I love them. And they make knitting hats really, really nice. And they come from, I think you get sizes US 4 to US 9 in the set. It's not super expensive, and I love them. They make life very, very easy. And obviously I can just knit and go and it's been a great pattern. So I think I worked on this quite a bit when Shane and some of his friends, we played a video game called Among Us, and there's like rounds that happen in the game. So there are points where you're actively playing and then points where you're actively discussing and talking to try to figure out who the imposter is. And so when we're in those lobbies talking and discussing, I can just pick it up and work on it. And then if I get kicked from the round a little bit early, I can also just keep observing and watching while also doing something until the next round where I can actively play starts. So it's been a nice pattern. It's also going to be my to-go knitting. I think I have 2 skeins of this. I'm kind of at a jumbled, almost done with this skein. And then I probably have to start into the second one. But yes, my Trail 4 hat, slightly modified to adjust to yarn weight. And that is here. And now we are on to the final work in progress. Can anyone guess what it is? I have mentioned it multiple times before, and it's a long-term project, and it uses mini skeins. Okay, do we know? Does everyone know? If you don't know, you might be new. If not, you might forgot. But this is my Habitation throw by Helen Stewart. I am using a 3.5mm hook and the Nora George Harry Potter Blanket Club mini skein set. I have done quite a bit on this. And I am in the middle of a row because I like myself. So I've basically finished all of the July colors and I am about to start on August. So that's how much I did. Da 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 da! Habitation throw! So, as you can see here by my stitch marker by the corner of craft, he blends in quite well with this color. I have done 1, 2, 3, I don't know French. We'll do it in German. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. 5 colors. All of July in the last 2 weeks. So, for a recap, this lovely light orange is Lily Potter. This rusty darker orange is James Potter. I put them beside each other because I thought that was fitting. This beautiful speckly pinky with greens, that is Harry Potter's Patronus. The next color is Harry Potter. And then this color, this light pink with pops of green and yellow, is Happy Birthday Harry. The July theme was all things Harry, right? It's all about Harry. Something about Harry. It's all about Harry. It's all about Harry. That was July. So now I'm about to start on August. I have not memorized those colors yet, so I must reference my little printout that she gives us. So from left to right, the yellow is Gringotts, then a letter from Hogwarts, the Leaky Cauldron, Madame Malkin's, and Flourish and Bots. So I will give you some nice close-ups of those. So we have Gringotts, I think yellow to represent the gold, and then, whoop, I got a lot of yarn going on in here. A letter from Hogwarts. I think this one is my favorite. I want a full skein of this. Sorry, the screen is a little dark. And then we have this one. A letter from Hogwarts. Just this like lovely orange and brown. Very Hogwarts-esque. Actually, I lied. I think this one's my favorite. I love this color. So the blue I love for Shane. This one I love for myself. I love this. This is Madame Malkin's. It's just like a white with pops of all these beautiful colors. Like, look at that. Oh, I love this color. I want a sweater in this. I want a sweater in this. Love this color. And then the last color is Flourish and Butts. So I try to memorize these as I go. I like tell myself as I'm knitting them, this is this color, this is this color. So Flourish and Butts. It's like a gray undertone and then with some speckles. Ugh, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. So I'm loving this club and I'm loving the Harry Potter blanket that I'm making. And I'm trying to decide. The pattern calls for 24 mini skeins because you're supposed to do it with an advent. I'm debating between doing either 30 or 35 colors. I'd love to know if anyone has done that many colors in a habitation throw and how big it was. So I'm at 10 colors now. Technically I'm supposed to do like 4 more and then start decreasing, but I feel like it's gonna get small. And I'm really liking the colors and liking just how it looks in general. It's very, I feel, Ron's mom. Very her. Like something you would see in the borough. I love it. I love it so much. So yes, that is my habitation throw. And that is my last work in progress. I know, there's so many. My brain has been all over the place. But I just like to pick up things and start new things. The sad thing is, I scanned up yarn to start a different project yesterday. I didn't have the needle because it's on another project. So I didn't start it. Otherwise I would have started it. That's how scatterbrained my brain has been. But I just want to start all the different things. And I'm tired of depriving myself. So I'm probably just going to start it. But that's where we're at. I really appreciate you guys sitting with me today. I know this one was a bit of a long one, but I have a lot to share and I just wanted to share it with all you guys. I hope all of you are doing well. I know it's been a crazy time and I really appreciate you all spending a little bit of time with me. I hope I can inspire you or just give you a little bit of joy in your day. Hope to see you guys again in 2 weeks. Have a great evening or day or week or however you're doing. I don't know when you're watching this. It is evening for me. I will see you all next time. Have a good day.